Let me ask you guys a question. If a transgender person or somebody that identifies, an alternative lifestyle, but let's stick with like transgender, if they showed up at one of these MAGA pastors' churches or any other church, just a regular person's church, how do you think they would be treated? Do you think that people would shy away from them? Do you think that they might be not allowed in or even, put out? Well, I believe, based upon what's going on in this current climate over this last several years, that they would not be welcome. And on the thumbnail, you see that there's some pastors there and preachers that I use, and that's just only just a small sample of many. And that goes for any pastors. But the ones in the thumbnail, Marcus Rogers, Hank Kunneman, and Greg Locke, these people are what you consider MAGA pastors, more so. So they're basically what you would call Christian nationalists. And stick with me, because I'm going to share with you here for a second my experience when I was younger, as a young minister, my experience when a transgender person came to our church. So let's stick around for that. But the reason why I single these people out is that, this current climate of these Christian nationalists, MAGA preachers, and a whole lot within the church realm, how hateful they are and how these types of people, transgenders, are not even welcome. The way that they talk. So let me show you, and some of you seen the clips before, but some of you are new. Let me just show you, because these people that's on the thumbnail, the Greg Locke, the Hank Kunneman, and the Marcus Rogers, they all have the same thing in common, meaning they're QAnon believers. Greg Locke was at the Capitol on January the 5th. He left before the 6th, but he spoke at the Stop the Steal, that whole event. And Marcus Rogers showed up there on the day of on January the 6th. There. So they're all, in this whole thing, they believe in a whole lot of conspiracies. They believe in the big lie. But let's look at some of these clips so you can see where their mind and where their heart is.
Got to kick his pulpit over and preach wide slam open tonight. That low-down, sorry sex trafficking rapist. I wish to God he would take me to court. I wish to God that demon would take me to court. I'll show the pictures I've got. You ever send another dime to that low-down, sorry pedophile? I pray God curses your finances. I'm going to call them all out when I have to. You say, oh my goodness, you mean to tell me that Joel Osteen, he's that way with women? No, I'm here to tell you Joel Osteen's that way with boys. Huh? Go ahead, this tent is big. There's a door there, 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 there's a door there. You can drive the Bubba truck out as far as I care.
No, it's fine. I just wanted to show you guys, they got 24/7 worship out here, and then they're over here marching to the Capitol. We'll get back with you in a minute.
He would get that same kind of treatment. The way that they just keep excusing the behavior, the way that they try to hide it. Like, really, can we just be real? You guys know I like to talk real. If it was one of Trump's sons, the images, I don't know if you've seen the images and the stuff that is on Hunter Biden's laptop. That dude is a nasty dude. High out of his mind, on the beach with the jacket, got all these different videos and pictures, with these different women and stuff that he's paid for. If that was one of Trump's sons, man, they would be just exposing it nonstop. What do pirates do? Steal, plunder. What do we believe happened in that election? I'm going to just leave that alone. I know I'm going down the rabbit hole. And like I said, this is all speculation. I want to be clear. I'm not saying that God told me that. I just said, man, that's very interesting.
They want to sit there and call a guy who did not win the election. And it makes me laugh when prophets say that they heard that Biden would win the election. Well, you're a wrong prophet. He didn't win. He lost the election. And let me tell you something. I was talking to Mike Lindell this week.
And as you can see through those clips, that's just a small sample of where what you're dealing with in society. And unfortunately, these folks have made Christ look and the church look a disgrace. They think that they're doing something mighty work of God. Yes, we are to preach against sin. Yes, we are to stand up for righteousness and all of those things. We're supposed to do all of that. But we're not supposed to do it in a way of hate. And the thing, just like where you saw in that clip, where Greg Locke is telling people there's a door right there, there's a door right there, telling people, if you don't like what I said, you can get out. And that's what he told people during the pandemic. If you come into this church with a mask on, with your little propaganda is what he called it, he's going to have his people ask you to leave, is what he said. And then he even went on to threaten, using violence with a Second Amendment rights if somebody had told him that he had to close his church up and stuff, threatening violence and all of this. But these folks, they're all the same. And it's sad because unfortunately, for those that are lost out there, they really don't have nowhere to go at this stage. It really, as far as like finding a diamond in the rough to find true Christians that are out there in a true church. And as I mentioned, as I started this channel, the church, the Lord closed up shop on it and exposed a lot of these churches and exposed a lot of these pastors. And guess who he used to expose them? He used Trump to expose the wickedness within their hearts. That's what he did. He used Trump to expose them for who they are. Idolatry, all of that, the things that they should not be doing. And that's why a lot of churches are in disarray. And unfortunately, you have these people that they single out, transgenders, and immigrants and anybody, people of color, anything that is hate. That's not, there's a way to go about certain things. Why would a person, if if I was unsaved, and I'm looking for, trying to just get my life together. I'm confused. I need help. There's nobody. And, and maybe someone told me about the Lord at some point in my life. I'm confused and this and that. But why would somebody come running to the doors of a church anymore when they have people like these that we're talking about, these MAGA pastors and all of these nationalists out here, that why would they want to be a Christian? Why would you want to be involved? Now, let me get to the story of the time when I was a young minister. I'm sitting in the pulpit. This is in the late 90s. I'm sitting in the pulpit, and my cousin used to own a beauty shop. I might have told this story before. Some of you might remember or not, but I'll tell it again. And I was sitting there, and in comes this guy, what would be considered transgender as of today. I don't know what the word was back then, but anyway, had on makeup, fur coat, fingernail polish, this all flamboyant in the way, and came there and sat, and I noticed him because he used to work in my cousin's hair beauty salon. So I know him well. And he was just crying his heart out as my pastor was preaching and something was going on. And when it was time, they asked for people, do they want prayer? He came up there and wanted prayer. And I said, he must be going through something. He must be really going through something. Then after the service, he saw me when I was up in the pulpit. And after the service, he came up to me and was speaking to me, and we're talking and things. And my fellow church members and people are looking at me like, what are you talking to him for? What are you doing? And they were more so like frowning towards me. And I said, what is going on? Here I am, a young guy in my 20s, and I'm thinking like, why are they acting like this towards somebody? Ain't this what Jesus told us to be about? Loving one another, loving our enemies, and all of these different things. And this is what it's about. So I believe that in today's climate, with the way that these folks talk and the hate that's within their hearts, that if some people, let's just say a group of friends of them, showed up at Marcus Rogers' church, much as he likes to always think that it's this hidden agenda, because that's what he always say. That's what they all say. Their philosophy is, which is invalid. Their philosophy is, the election must have been stolen because it had to be stolen, because they're trying to make it to where they are pushing all of these things onto us, and that's their ultimate plan. which is just so silly because he is, and we're not going to get into that, but that's their thing. So I would love to see if somebody like Greg Locke or a group of our friends came and they seeking out the Lord and they walked in dressed the way that they normally dress and sat right within the church. Oh, I'd like to see how would that service go? Now, I'd like to see what Marcus Rogers would do. Now, I do know there was a message a while back when Marcus Rogers, some guy that wasn't, supposedly he expected everybody to be jumping and praising and acting, just running around. He does within the church, and somebody was just sitting there, not doing whatever he thinks that they were supposed to be doing. So he gets there and has his members, so he stated in his message, that they surrounded the guy. And as you see in this thumbnail, that's the picture of him pointing to the guy, pointing him out, calling the guy out for not getting up. Like, who does that? Who does that? Is that what you would do if the transgender people would show up at your church like that? You gonna surround them? Or what would happen? People, I'm not sitting by them. I'm gonna get up. Oh no, it would be so uncomfortable. But you know what? It's nice and comfort when you sit there in your little space, in your little church, these phony ministries that they have in places, and you sit there and all of your members are giving you all the accolades, and you're sitting there and getting the amens, and everyone's clapping and everyone's standing by you. But you know what? It's different when you start getting street peoples coming in and certain, having to really reach those that the Lord told us. Just like when he sat with the tax collectors and all that, when you have to get outside of your comfort zone. And a whole lot of them, they don't want to do that. They're comfortable where they are, lying on the Lord. They're comfortable sitting there bashing people and pushing hate and making like every person is just that they're not valuable in God's eyes. Well, you know what? If you're struggling with whatever you're going on with your identity, you're struggling with your sexuality or whatever, God still loves you. God loves you to death, and you are somebody. And if you need to talk or anything, feel free. My email is in every one of my description boxes. Reach out to me. I'll pray with you. I'll talk with you or whatever. Because on this channel, my subscribers, we love you. There's no hate coming from this side on us and from me, because it's ridiculous. Now, we know what the Bible says about certain things and this and that, but we'll get to that at another point, because, we will allow our light to shine and allow the Lord to lead us and guide us. And we're not going to, just demonize everybody as these MAGA preachers and pastors and YouTubers and whoever ministries or whoever and other Christians that call themselves. We're not going to do that or so. We know that there's a problem at the border and certain things like that, but we're not going to sit up there and demonize and talk about people and just, what would Jesus say with these people? Some of these people that are running for their lives and just trying to, I know myself, personally, if I was stuck in a situation like that, I'm going to do everything I could to make a better life for my family. And I don't care what nobody say. I'm going to risk it all. Just like, we've had people through centuries risk it all just for some type of freedom or whatever and stuff. So I'm not going to demonize and set up and make like these people are the scum of the earth and all of these things, that some of this language that Christians have no business talking. And as I close this video out, I want to show you this clip. Some of you already seen it before, but it's just show you the hate and the bit, how these people's hearts are. You remember Nick Fuentes, the he's an election denier. You name it. He's a white nationalist. He's all of that. He was at the White House. He's the one that came with Kanye West to the White House, and Trump act like he didn't know who he was, knowing that Secret Service has got to get the clearance and all of that stuff for people. So we won't go there. But this guy is making fun. This was back when Nikki Haley was in the race, and she's got a black son-in-law, and Nick has been talking crazy really as of late, and I will make videos on him later. But let's look at this little clip real quick.
Pick your first family. Would you like a woman president? I want a female president with a black son-in-law and some manlet, bald cuck husband versus the God Emperor of mankind and the son, Alexander. You take your pick. You tell me which one you'd prefer. Is it a little bit racist? Yeah, it is. Oh my goodness. She openly loves her husband, Joshua Jackson. I loves me some Joshua Jackson. He my partner. He my man. He my husband. He a good father. He a good daddy to the children. Really?
And as you see there, he's making fun of this black son-in-law and the mixed family and all of these things, and then comparing it to Trump's family. And that's the hate. You see that? This is and these folks call themselves Christians. They call themselves representing, trying to represent the body of Christ in some kind of way. And you wonder why people don't want anything to do with the Lord? But this is where we are in great danger, because these nationalists, all of these mega pastors and MAGA pastors and all of these types of people think that they're on their way of getting their way. And I told you in a previous video back that at what cost, because you think that you're trying to force some religion on somebody, at what cost do you think you're gonna have at doing that? Because, you're pushing more people away more than ever. And in the end, there's going to be spiritual blood on your hands, and the Lord's going to hold every one of these so-called pastors and Christians all accountable for pushing people away and destroying souls. Because that's all you're doing, is destroying souls with your rhetoric. And we'll continue to call it out on this channel. Talk about the issues the church run away from. Take Satan head on. Punch him right in between the chops. Evangelism for God is the channel. My name is Maurice Braxton. Until the next video, my friends, take care. God bless.